Welcome back to the big question. We are asking tonight which way forward regarding the National Dialogue Conference. We have, of course, the studio Majority Leader in the Senate, Professor Kithure Kindiki, and Budalangi MP Ababu-Namwamba from CORD. Thank you so much again for making time for us. The Jubilee, or the government, has said how it wants this done. How do you want it done?
You know, Hussein, we have put an idea out there. And as I've already said, we put this idea out there in good faith. The idea is that we see Kenya hurting. We see the people suffering. We feel the government is not responsive, is not doing anything sufficient to effectively respond to this pain. And we have said, come, let us talk, let us dialogue.
In what
and
form?
Among the issues that we would then set out, preliminarily, would be the structure, the framework of that discussion. Look back to the Serena talks that gave birth to
the National Accord.
To the National Accord. That was part, the framework of the talks was part of the preliminary engagement. And today, if you listened to our coalition leader, Raila Odinga, he was saying that we are inviting government, okay, to proceed and put in place a team that we can engage with. And once that team is in place, then we will discuss preliminarily the structure, the framework of engagement.
Right.
The ground rules will be part of that preliminary engagement.
And that you're not ready to do?
Yeah.
No, not quite. As I have said, there are two things. One, we have institutions. These institutions represent everyone, government side, the opposition. And our own view is different, that what we need in this country is not the kind of pontification and holier-than-thou attitude we are seeing from CORD, who, by the way, are largely responsible for some of the things we are trying to fix today. I'll exemplify. We are talking of unprecedented security threats. The source of that threat is twofold. One, low investment in the security sector, including during the Grand Coalition government, but more importantly, the lapses in the immigration department, which was a CORD ministry in the equivalent of CORD in the previous government. So for us, it's simple. We are saying this. If CORD is in good faith, because I doubt they are in good faith, because when you're in good faith, you don't say, by this date next month, we must sit or else. That's a threat. That's an ultimatum. They should tell us, we are sponsoring a bill on devolution in the Senate, or a bill on agricultural inputs in the National Assembly. And I want to assure you, Jubilee will be the first one to support a bill fronted by the minority if it is in the interest of the people of Kenya. But you don't go and do rallies all over the place,
Hussein.
Which until the other day, by the way, dialogue was introduced when the leader of CORD came from America. Before that, what we saw from my brother here, whom I respect a lot, and other people, including my brother, Senator Wetangula, are rallies full of incitement, vengeance, hate, and outright contempt to the choice that the people of Kenya made to elect the Jubilee government.
Hussein, pontification, blame games, shifting of the buck will not help this government to run away from its primary responsibility to serve the people. This government is failing. And let me tell you, if you want to start shifting around blame, the current president was Minister for Finance when Professor Kindiki says government was not investing sufficiently in security. Why didn't the current president, Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta, invest in security as Minister for Finance? The Ministry for Internal Security was never in ODM hands. Right. It was family on the other side. But that's not the point, because I'm not interested in these little blame games. The point we need to make here that this country is in a crisis.
Are we in a crisis?
Yes, we are in a crisis, of course.
Why would you say we're in a crisis?
Just observe what is happening with the tourism, for instance. Tourism is a backbone of this economy. Tourism has been hit so hard, and it has had a domino effect. Waiters, cooks, drivers, the ordinary person that depends on revenue from these tourists, these tourists, they're completely off the radar, of the economic radar.
Right.
When I'm telling you, this is about security. It's so serious. Corruption is back in such a big way that directives are coming from State House to pay shadowy contracts, where the president himself, when he was leader of the opposition, famously said, can't pay, won't pay. If it was can't pay, won't pay, when Uhuru Kenyatta was leader of the opposition and chairman of the Public Accounts Committee, what has changed? But the fundamental point I want to make, who said, is this. Yes, we can debate in the Senate and in Parliament, but that does not abrogate the primary responsibility, the primary mandate that lies with the people. Article 1 of the Constitution, I was mentioning this earlier, is very clear that sovereignty inheres in the people of Kenya. It may be exercised directly or through elected representatives. And there is nothing absolutely wrong for the people of Kenya, whether they are CORD, leaning, or Jubilee affiliated, to be part of a broad national discourse that can assist this country and can assist this fumbling government to get it better.
The question, Honorable Bob Namwamba, he talked about it when you're talking about the rallies. First of all, are there any parameters you use to measure as the coalition, as the opposition, that we are in a crisis as government? And secondly, when you go to rallies, we saw, and of course you're within your rights to do that, and when the former Prime Minister came on Saturday, what is new? What has changed? Many have said, why doesn't CORD have a blueprint to tell the people this and this and this is what we're going to do about this and this problem before Honorable Ababu Namwamba, before we call for a national dialogue conference?
Hussein, we have countless blueprints. We have issued in the last 1 or 2 months, we have issued about 3 position papers. The last one that was issued under the leadership of Professor Nyang' Nyong'o was very comprehensive, point by point, from agriculture to tourism to security to national cohesion, because this country is in a crisis of national cohesion. Kenyans have never been so divided as they are divided today. And what worries me is that when you look at the posture of Jubilee, you see unmitigated, unbridled hubris. You see chronic, fatal arrogance. So that instead of this government responding to the issues that really matter, they are just displaying arrogance. And you know what? The Greek gods, there used to be a saying among the Greek that those that the gods intend to destroy, they first rob them of their sense of hearing and their sense of sight, so that they see not, they hear not. And the Bible adds by saying that pride comes before the big fall. Right. That is what I'm saying with Jubilee.
You know, Hussein, Ababu Namwamba, I know him for a long time. And I'm not surprised. But I'm afraid these polemics that he's bringing here are not useful. Let's face it. Number one, Uhuru Kenyatta was Minister for Finance, not under the new constitution, under the old constitution. He was not President of Kenya. I know the current Minister of Finance has some leeway under the PMFA Act, the Public Finance Management Act, not under the old constitution. That's number one. Number two, according to Ababu Namwamba and company, sovereignty inheres in the people of Kenya. And according to him, CORD is the people of Kenya. Which is wrong.
No.
Which is wrong. Thirdly,
let him finish.
But he's misleading.
Let him finish. You'll get your time. You'll get your time to respond to that.
Come here and say Jubilee government has done nothing, especially on the issue of insecurity, is fallacious, it is untrue, it is inappropriate. For the following reason, I'll just give one reason. 1 year alone, the Jubilee government has employed 10,000 soldiers, police officers.
Right.
Number two, it has put every police officer from 1st July on life insurance. Number three, it has bought 1,200 police vehicles, which you can see all over the country for now. But so to come here and say that the Jubilee government has done nothing?
The Jubilee government, or the government in fact, has done something.
Yes.
But do you agree that we are struggling with insecurity?
Precisely.
There is a problem.
And we are resolving it. I'll go further and say, and up to now, by the way, what he says are blueprints. we've not seen anything credible. I'll tell you why I say so. If you look at what they said, the lies that Jubilee tell, it was just stories, I don't know, picked from where, nothing concrete. Let me tell you what the president has done to go beyond equipment and personnel. In his report to the National Assembly and Senate on national security, last, I think 2 months ago, in fact, paragraph 44 of his report says that he intends to actually review, restructure, especially the intelligence gathering aspect of the police. That is an NCIS. So I would have expected, for example, CORD to tell us in that restructuring, how can we do it so that we seal the gaps that we have in intelligence gathering. Rather than just to say, oh, you know, these are lies and then write a long story without any concrete.
Let me talk about another issue CORD has been talking about, which is the IEBC. Yes. First of all, do you want the IEBC disbanded or commissioners removed? We need a clarification on that. And how is this going to be done?
Hussein, first of all, let me, before I come to the IEBC, say
very
that,
briefly,
very, very briefly, that this question of security is not a matter that we need to trivialize. CORD is willing to help any effort that can secure the lives and the property of Kenyans. And CORD is saying we want to be part of the solution, not part of the problem. There is a problem, let us reason together and find a solution. Yes, you are buying vehicles. I saw on Madaraka Day that you have even bought a swanky, very swanky looking armored vehicle for the president. The president for once, in fact, just seeing the presidential motorcade alone confirms that even the president himself is living in mortal fear. So if the president is riding in an armored motorcade, what does it tell you? We are, in fact, Hussein, if you needed confirmation that we are in a security crisis, play that clip of the president at Nyayo Stadium. I've never seen, I don't know whether it was a Hummer or whichever vehicle that was, but that confirmed the security crisis. Now to the IEBC. We are saying that there is a credibility issue here. It's a credibility crisis. And again, in good faith, we are saying, let us discuss this matter. Let us make this matter a national issue without any partisan posturing so that we can find a way to have a referee that enjoys the confidence of all players. So no ultimatums,
is that what you're saying?
There are no ultimatums.
Because we've heard in rallies
and by the way, please, Hussein.
We've heard in rallies,
Hussein, anybody can say anything in a rally.
And a court,
and even Kindiki himself, he says all sorts of crazy things in rallies.
Right, I'm talking about what was said
we are talking about policy positions. We will be very reluctant, Hussein, and that is true.
So there are no ultimatums?
There are no ultimatums, and there are no threats. CORD is not engaging, and please, let this be very clear, Professor. CORD has not issued any threats. CORD has not issued any ultimatums. We have provided time frames within which we believe these matters ought to be, because everything must be time-bound. We respect each other. We respect our brothers and sisters in the Jubilee Coalition, and we want all these things to be done in the context of respect, mutual respect, and appreciation.
Absolutely. I have to seek clarification from you, because you're saying we should not take what is said in rallies. And this was said by none other by the coalition core principal, including the issue of Saba, which was clearly to so many people an ultimatum for a national dialogue conference.
Saba is a time frame. We gave a time frame that
so it should be done by then.
Within this period, these matters should be considered. I do not consider that to be a threat. I consider that to be a time-bound proposal.
I don't know what Prof consider this to be, but
it is certainly not a threat.
After this break, Professor Kithure Kindiki will tell me what he considers that to be. Stay tuned, keep sending us your comments. We'll look at them after this short break.